And on this episode of Just Let It Die, people, we have this from the Daily Highlight Hollywood. Marvel Studios is reportedly considering doing a Season 2 for Miss Marvel. It's really simple. Really simple. If Miss Marvel would have came out before Endgame, I would say this show has a chance of getting a Season 2 and Miss Marvel going on to do bigger and better things. Because let's look at all the movies that took place before Endgame, regardless if they made money in the box office or not. They were all monumentally important to the final battle. Without Thor the Dark World, we don't have the Ether. We don't have the Reality Stone. Monumentally important going into Infinity War and Endgame, right? Without Ant-Man 2, one of the worst Marvel movies out there, we don't have Endgame. Without that after-credits scene, we don't have Endgame. It's that simple. So, if Miss Marvel would have came out before Endgame, there would have been a plan for her. There would have been a very, very well-organized, very well-detailed plan of her character, of all the appearances that she's going to make, and it's going to be leading to this moment later on. That is why, as I said before in my Shang-Chi video, you removed Kang, you went with Doctor Doom, you have eliminated Shang-Chi's existence, and you have eliminated Miss Marvel's existence as well going forward, because both of those characters were going to lead to the final battle and Secret Wars. Her wristbands and Shang-Chi's rings were connected to Kang in some way, shape, or form. We're not going to know how they were, but they were alluding to it. So now you have Miss Marvel. The first season did poorly. One of the worst watched show on Disney Plus. No one really liked it. To me, it seemed really childish. Yes, I understand it was a kid's thing, but the problem is you have to kind of go along with your audience here. You can't just bang out a show made for a really, really younger group of people and expect all the Marvel fans that have seen the dramatic stuff that you've done later on, and you can't make them go, oh, you know what, I guess I'll just watch a kid's show right now. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. Marvel right now has an identity crisis. It doesn't know what it wants to be. They're adjusting too fast, and with the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, now they're going into rated R territory. Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't a successful movie because it was rated R. I don't think a couple of curse words and a little bit of blood here and there made it one of the highest grossing movies of the year. Me personally, I wasn't a big fan of it. I think it was way too much nostalgia bait, but to each their own. People like the movie. It made a lot of money. Good for them. Problem is, Marvel is adapting to that now and saying, okay, they love the cursing, they love the blood, they love the dark. We got to go all in on that. You didn't have to do that before. You were making tons of money before. Now all of a sudden you're not, and you're desperately trying to figure out what's going on. Here's what's going wrong. Everything you guys have done past this point of Endgame. Terrible. No plan whatsoever. Miss Marvel, back to this. Lowest watched show, I'm pretty sure. Lowest watched Marvel show on Disney+. The Marvels, box office catastrophe. Young Avengers, that's where you're going next with this character? Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Nothing has worked with Miss Marvel. It is almost one of the safest bets you could possibly make out there, that if Miss Marvel is going to become a household name with Marvel fans, it hasn't worked. Her comic books, it's not flying off the shelves. The video game, you can't even find the Avengers game anywhere now. How is that possible? You made an Avengers game. That opening of the Avengers game, 10 out of 10. Absolutely perfect. If you ever get a chance to probably watch the video online of just the opening of it, it is so well done. You get to play as all the characters. It moves so fluidly. My favorite battle scene was actually playing as Black Widow fighting Taskmaster. That was awesome. And as I'm playing that game, I'm thinking this game is going to be one of the highest selling games of all time. And what happened after the opening? It's a Miss Marvel game. It's about Miss Marvel reassembling the Avengers after all these years. Just think about that for a second. Your first Avenger game that you're doing, and it's a Miss Marvel game. Unbelievable. Nothing with this character has worked. It's not a groundbreaking opinion to say that something that has not worked at all is going to continue to not work. Marvel right now, Disney as a whole, they're hemorrhaging money. Sure, they're getting wins here and there. Inside Out 2 was a massive win. Deadpool and Wolverine was a massive win. They have a lot of sequels and spin-offs coming down the pipe. And yes, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom is going to put butts in the seats. However, Fantastic Four, if that's not a great movie, what are you going to do? You can't course correct now. You've gone too far. We're too close to the big team-up movies now. Secret Wars is down the corner. And Doomsday, it's down the corner. Imagine for a second, let's just say for a second. Let's say the Fantastic Four movie is the biggest box office flop of the year. Worse than the Marvels. You're gonna course correct from Doom? How is it possible that they scrapped Kang? I don't think it had anything to do with the Jonathan Majors situation. Not even close. People are telling me, because Majors got that court problem, then they decided to scrap the entire thing. You could have recasted him, I don't know, within the hour. One of the easiest recastings to do of all time. Just pick someone else. Marvel fans were not devoted to Jonathan Majors, okay? He wasn't this groundbreaking guy. Now, however, if it would have been Robert Downey Jr. that had some legal problems, and you're like, okay, we have to recast Iron Man, that would be an issue. Because that's like a decade of watching this character's development. And now all of a sudden it's, we have to recast him? That Marvel fans will not take kindly to that. So we haven't seen Kang and Jonathan Majors long enough to be that massively invested in him that this character dies with him. I think he's a good actor, don't get me wrong. I thought he did play the role of Kang actually pretty good in Quantumania. The movie wasn't good as a whole. I don't think Jonathan Majors was necessarily the problem with it. Certainly not his acting ability. So you canceled all future progress because of the flop and the court problems. Yet Miss Marvel, you keep going down this road? What's it doing for you, Marvel? Is Miss Marvel the highest grossing, highest watched show in the Middle East? Is that what you're trying to do? You're just trying to desperately pertain to Middle Eastern women? That you feel like you have to keep pushing this character down people's... It's not working. It's not working at all. Any business out there. Imagine if it was like potato chips, for instance, and you have one bag of potato chips that's constantly not being sold, and every other flavor of potato chip is being sold. You're not going to say, okay, I'll order 30 more cases of this one. You're not doing that. You're not doing it at all. So the fact that Miss Marvel, they're even remotely talking about putting a season 2, what would you do with it? What would you do with it? Because like I said before, it's so annoying thinking about this. Everything was leading towards Kang. If I had to imagine how the movie would have ended, it would have probably ended with Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel saving the day. That's where they were going with it. So now you've eliminated them. You've eliminated them entirely. So now what's she gonna do? She's gonna be a street level hero right now with her powers? No. Doesn't work that way. Reportedly, she was going to be in the Daredevil TV show, but that was cut, apparently. Who knows how true that was, but she doesn't fit in with the street. No, it doesn't work. You know why Daredevil works? Because he's fighting normal people. You can't put someone with Miss Marvel's powers fighting, street level people? No, it doesn't work. That was one of the reasons why I said the Punisher being in the MCU is kind of dumb. Because the second that portal opens up in New York, his world is forever changed. He's not going to be out there fighting drug dealers and child traffickers. No. He's now going to have to be fighting aliens. It doesn't work that way. I'll do another video about that, but I find that idea really interesting. But back to Miss Marvel. She's just a character that they are desperately trying to make work, but every time they do something, it just makes people dislike her more. So I don't think it's ever going to work. I don't think right now the writing talent in Marvel can possibly get this right. Years ago, I would have said 100% Miss Marvel will become a household name. 100% I would have thought that. Now, done. Done. It's over. Over for Miss Marvel. So who knows how much more money they're going to sink into this dying ship that is Miss Marvel. But in the end, what do you guys think about that?
voice whispers my name, a hunter with a heart.